Yeah.
So I really lived such a happy. I was like a queen, bro. And now I'm like a peasant.
Well, let's wrap that up because obviously it's not green on the other side. She went from queen to peasant.
Life the rush, but the boss to say thank you.
Hello friends, I'm Tay-yibah.
And I am Moe.
And welcome back to the T.O.E podcast.
What does T.O.E mean? You see, did it again.
Two opposite ends. Welcome back to Two Opposite Ends podcast.
Yeah, and I'm giving you our time. We are your hosts, like she said, Tay-yibah and Moe. And big sigh. You know why? You see that rhymed actually. Big sigh, you know why? Tell me why.
Guys, we filmed such a juicy episode last week. And we lost the sound. We lost the sound 10 minutes into the episode.
Yeah.
So we got some deals from it, but we have to redo that whole topic today.
Probably a good thing because she was talking a lot of... Yeah. It's good the sound isn't there. It should just stay in the vault.
It was a bit vulgar, but it's fine. It was funny. But you know what? God is protecting us.
This is very true.
So we'll film it again. That's fine. It was a very relevant topic. It still remains relevant. But we'll just redo that for you guys today. Yeah.
And I think,
Okay,
cool. What is the topic that we're talking about that was so juicy?
Well, it wasn't the topic that was juicy. It was what was coming out of the topic that was juicy. But anyways, it is about immigrating. So us South African coloured people immigrating, and obviously had different lived experiences of that.
Yeah.
So you were obviously a lot younger when you immigrated with your family. You were a child.
I was a, what did you call it last time? A tween.
Because you weren't exactly a teenager. Was your voice broken already?
I'm trying to think. 12 years old. Yes, it was.
No, you lie.
I'm not lying.
He's lying.
I sounded like Vin Diesel when I was like 10. Yeah.
So then where did that voice go? Because you don't sound like Vin Diesel now.
Yeah, actually that's good.
No, bro. It's just video. Anyway, moving on. So we are going to be talking about our two different very loved experiences. Obviously, me being a parent, having immigrated with a toddler at the time.
Yeah. And I was, like I said, I was 12 years old. So we were kids when we came over.
Yeah.
And then I have two brothers. So the youngest, he was probably like 5 when we came over. So it's, it's going to give you the experiences from two opposite ends, right? Obviously, what you experienced was what my parents would have experienced, and then... But
even so, still so different because it was so many years.
For sure. Oh, absolutely. I guess from an emotional, mental side of things, it's like, how does that feel, moving countries as a parent, and then what we essentially go through as kids as well. Obviously, I was 12, so I had a bit of a foundation, right?
Yeah.
And then like my brothers, which would be very similar to like yours, your son, he was like 5. So it's like trying to get a feel for what kids go through, right? So that's what we're gonna go through.
Yeah.
Now,
off the bat.
Whoa! Did you see that?
Same wavelength. But really, off the bat, let's talk about and then we'll go into it. But is the grass green on the other side?
Depends what kind of grass you like. I don't know grass.
Okay.
I don't know grass, but the reason I say it depends on what kind of grass you like. For the most part, yes, it is. And the reason I say that is because there's like different ideas of what it could be like. Okay, so you'll have some people that, a lot of people actually think, okay, we're going overseas, life is great, it's going to be easy, it's just going to be like, But
like a restart, right? I think you're going to come and it's going to be like a whole new life, a whole new chapter.
Which in itself, it is.
But it's also...
But it's what comes with it, right? It's not like, all of a sudden you move countries and then...
But problems don't disappear.
No.
Right? No, and whatever issues you had before, it's just... In fact, and I don't know, my husband can also maybe attest to this, in fact, I think when you immigrate, especially as a family, right? Once you immigrate and you remove yourself from all the other noise in the background or back home, right? The cracks start to show, or not the cracks, but like you get to be more in tune with like what you are as like a couple, as a parent, as
so
a
you're talking like
because it's
family
just
unit.
you. It's just you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's why I say it can be greener. Well, it depends on how you look at it, because if you think of Cape Town in particular, right?
Yeah.
Things are, the country's in a state, but generally, if you are in a semi-good circle, you can make things happen. So things are quite comfortable.
Yeah.
In a way, right? You've got your family helps out with things, you know, they support you. Honestly, you know what, like you can start a hustle in Cape Town.
Yeah.
Like that.
You
right?
can.
Whereas
You
like
can.
here in New Zealand,
You can't. There's so much you
you
can
can't. Exactly.
There's a lot of detail. And
so
there's
it's
also a
stuff
lot
like
of
that,
people
man.
that are just
Yeah, and I think
Cassa.
that's the what?
nothing.
What did-
It's going me. I'm gonna stop. But basically, there is no like black and white answer for that.
Oh, I think I know what you just said now.
What did I say?
No, I'm not going to say it because that's going to take a spiral as on Sure.
But yeah,
So in that sense, greener because there is opportunity, but maybe not so green for some people, because when they get here, they actually have to work, or they actually have to. Oh, like you said, the cracks start to show. Oh, we have nobody else to like. You know,
we are
help
each
us
other's
out.
support system.
Exactly.
But I think it's also it's not a black and white straight answer.
No.
It's shades of grey. I think there
Shades
are
of green. You asked the grass. Yeah, did you see that? That's
Shades
why.
of green.
Shades of green. Right.
but it is like there's a lot of like pros and there's a lot of cons as there is anything in life, right? And yeah, we'll circle back to this.
Yeah. So I think that's you have to like really break that up, because people think of a lot of things. So best place to start is why did you decide to move, right?
Okay.
And what is the motivation? What were you looking for in the country? Well, New Zealand.
So off the back, pros. Why did we decide to
pros.
live?
But I mean,
if we are
with that will come the cons as well, because you'll say that when you got here, this is what you experienced, right?
okay. So why did we decide to move here? We decided to move here. It was primarily a safety thing, right? Like I may have mentioned before, we had a very nice, cushy life in South Africa. So there was no reason. It wasn't like we were leaving so that we could earn more money or get better jobs or like live this like bougie lifestyle, because that is not the situation.
So when you say cushy life, you're talking more on a like financial side of things, like you guys are comfortable in that?
Yeah, we were comfortable. We lived a comfortable life. We still live a comfortable life here, but I mean, I think even more so because more things are more affordable in South Africa. In certain things are more affordable in South Africa.
Are you
like,
sure?
yeah, like I did a domestic worker, bro. Now I must clean my own house.
Welcome to the club.
But that's the thing. You can even be 12. What do you know? But like, the thing is, like, we were adults back in South Africa.
Yeah.
We had to run whole households. We were paid until our son was 1.5 when we moved, whatever. But so basically, we had to run a household. We had to cook. We had to clean. We had to do all of those things. But we didn't have to do that, actually.
Yeah, I was just about to say, you didn't do it.
Domestic worker. And Sia's mama lived with us and she cooked, right?
Yeah.
So I like really lived such a happy, I was like a queen, bro. And now I'm like a peasant.
Well, let's wrap that up, because obviously it's not green on the other side. She went from queen to peasant.
But you know what? I'm like still now I feel like that sacrifice is 1000% worth it, because I can walk out of my door. I can open the door of my house and I can walk out and I can go for a long stroll. Doesn't matter what time it is. No one's gonna touch me. No one's gonna try to rob me. No one's gonna kill me for 20 rand. Because that shit happens back in South Africa. That should happen in our area. Like just
Are you trying to justify why it's
wait, man. And like I can get into my car, I can drive, I can take my kids wherever. They can walk with me. We can go to the park. Like I couldn't do that at all. You know, I have 2 kids now. Imagine me with 2 kids. Yo, we would have all been kidnapped in South Africa.
but the thing is, you look like a queen, so you have protection, sir.
Okay, not that level of queener. Like I didn't have bodyguards.
Oh.
I just had my
just thought-
husband
I
and
just
like
thought-
some domestic help and assistance.
No, wait, look here. Some people are used to that crime, though. You see, if I go back on holiday, like Cape Town, which we've been so many times, you just have a certain mindset. You're there, and you know you have to be a particular way. You have a particular like.
But why do you want to live like? Why
No,
do
but
you
what
want
I'm
to
saying, it just naturally happens. Right?
Okay, yeah.
It just happens. And so, okay, yes, we're on holiday, so there's a different vibe to it, but we enjoy ourselves. I love being at home. I'll always love being in Cape Town.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
So,
no vibe is like, okay,
Yeah,
South
exactly.
Africa vibe,
So,
okay? So I missed that.
I'm okay with that, right? So then you just settle into that mindset. And I think
But
a lot of
holidaying and
people
living
do.
is very different. That because there's other things that come with
fair
it.
enough.
Do you know what I mean? Like when you're holidaying, also you generally are going to the areas that are like a little bit more safer. Like let's be real, we go into like the sea points and the camps bays, and we're going on holiday to Hermanus and like all the white bougie areas. We're not like going like where we're living. Like I live in Kizikana, in a predominantly coloured area, right? And it wasn't safe for kids to be like rummaging around.
Well, that's the other thing. Now that's the downside. That is the downside. So obviously crime.
Yeah.
So let's go back to that. The fact that when you came to New Zealand, you have to do everything yourself.
Yeah.
But now you
like,
say it's worth it.
You can't even buy samosas here. Okay, you can from certain people, but like you can't go to like the corner barber shop and buy samosas, or like you can't get like a Wembley hot dog when you like don't want to cook at night. You can't go to your local because Woolworths here is not the Woolworths back home. We have Woolworths back home, but Woolworths back home is like it's fully halal, and they have some what?
I was just gonna say.
You asked me how I'm living a peaceful life. I'm explaining.
No, I know, but I thought you were gonna go down the route and tell them like, you know, why more as to why it's worth it. Because look at, by the way, you sound. I want to stay in Cape Town, bro. Just saying.
Okay. But you know what? No, at the end of the day, like your parents immigrated for you guys, right?
Yeah.
And I immigrated for my son at the time, and now I have 2 kids. So I immigrated for my children. That was always why, for opportunity, safety for them, so that they could live. They could be children, you know, and like
I agree.
I don't have to be I don't want to be telling a 2-year-old that he needs to like look over his shoulder. You can't. Do you know what I mean? It's not a life that I want.
No, I agree with you. I do agree with you. We left, and that was one of the reasons as well. It was the crime side of it. I think like a few months before, or was it a year? Something like that. Shortly before we left, they like broke into our house.
Yeah.
Right? So it's not a liquor feeling. It happens all the time. It's not a liquor feeling. And I think that was like a spark for my parents. Like, okay, let's make the move. You know?
And you see, you guys were lucky. You came out unscathed, right? Maybe they took some things, but that's immaterial.
Yeah. So
you other people who didn't come out so lucky.
So that's,
and I didn't ever want to be that person that didn't come out so lucky. I didn't want my kids to be.
Yeah. And in that sense, I will 100% agree, because that's something we can relate from two options, because that would be the reason you lived, and that was the reason that my parents lived.
Yeah.
For your kids. So I experienced that firsthand coming over here, that fear disappearing.
Yeah.
All right. So I remember like when I started school. Now, bear in mind, you're not going to walk anywhere in Cape Town, right? Because you know you're not supposed to. You're a child, don't walk anywhere because, you know. On my first day of school, literally on my first day of school, I was, what was that, like grade 7, I think, 8. So I walked like halfway home. So like my mommy thought, okay, cool, she's going to come and pick me up.
Is this year now?
This was here. This was here.
Cool.
But I left school and I see all these kids walking.
Yeah.
All these kids walking out. I was like 12, right?
Yeah. And some of them are young, like you see young kids walking alone.
Yeah. So I thought, okay, cool. I'm going to walk as well. And I did. And I knew the route that my mom is going to come and pick me up, right? So she saw me on the side of the road, like walking. She stopped. She's like, "What are you doing?" Like I was like, "All the kids are walking, and I feel fine."
Yeah.
And she was like, "Really? You're not scared?" I was like, "Nope." There wasn't like an ounce of fear.
Yeah.
So, in that sense, I agree with you.
Yeah.
When you have the reason as to why you're going, so regardless of what you were saying, you know, living like a queen, coming having to do stuff. If you have a reason, that's enough.
Yeah. But there are lots of other things, hey? Like I started off with like the things I missed, because obviously like my heart is with South Africa.
Cape Town is home.
Yeah.
It will
always be home. And if things were to change, I would be on a plane tomorrow. I'm sorry, New Zealand. But that being said, like There's a lot of other things. Load shedding, for example.
So, just when you say that now, you'd be back in. Is that like if things were better in what sense, though?
In terms of like our government and safety and just like things don't work back home, right? Like the health system does not work for you. You pay all this tax back home. Like people think, oh, I pay so much tax here. And yes, we pay a lot of tax here too. But it works for us. Like we don't pay school fees for our kids to go to really good schools. We don't pay we don't pay what do you have here back home? Medical aid, right? Medical aid was expensive back home, and you don't want to go to a public hospital back home. Yeah, the public hospitals are great. I had my second child; she was born at the public hospital here. The service that I got was probably better.
What hospital did you go to?
The hospital, the surgeons back home were really good. The surgeons here
over here, what
sometimes
hospital
questionable.
did you go to?
Auckland City Hospital.
Oh yeah, you got the nice hospital.
Yeah, so I got a really nice hospital. I do miss the doctors and surgeons back home because they're way better though. I will say that. But the healthcare system and the way things are done here is way better than back home. Like the public healthcare system, public schooling, public transport. We can hop on a bus. My mom hops on a bus with, my mom's looking after my daughter now because I've returned to work. So she's looking after, and she and my daughter just walk out of her front door, hop onto a bus, off they go. Safety, like security, things that you cannot put money on. You know, it doesn't have a price. Load shedding back home. Oh my God, like we were having like hectic load shedding before we immigrated because it started just before we immigrated. And it was crazy. Like we'd be...
Isn't it like exciting?
No. Fuck that
Ooh, the
shit.
lights are going to go...
No. Oh my God, you know, actually I remember we had that tropical cyclone here. When was it? Last weekend?
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
So our power cut for 5 minutes.
Yeah, I cried. Okay, I didn't cry. But I lost it.
Did you cry?
No, I was like losing it because I had pumped like a whole lot of grease smoke and it was stored in the freezer, right?
Yeah.
And so obviously this is like the stash to get my daughter through like the next few months while my mom's looking after. And
Oh, why do you cry? Like
because your breast milk is like gold, liquid gold.
yeah, that's true.
And you spend time pumping and it's like
Yeah.
like I could have been doing so many other things with my life, but I chose to pump and be a good mother.
Yeah. Well, what's your other option? You've got no other choice.
There's formula. There's literally formula. Anyways, so I lost it, and I was like, and my mom literally told me, she's like, you getting too soft. Like, what is this?
Yeah, you are.
And it was out, and they fixed it like not even an hour later. But yeah, like I don't think I can go back to that kind of lifestyle. You know, it's things like that.
Yeah.
Water also. They cut water for days at a time at home. Back home.
Well, I remember that. I mean, when we were on holiday.
Like, who wants to live like that?
A lot of people, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah, but this is like...
But that's the trade-off. That is the trade-off. I guess that is the pros and cons. So, like, and there's always going to be that. You know, like you said, like missing home is what it is.
Yeah.
As, you know, greatest things are other place in the world, home is home.
Yeah.
And there's certain elements that will not stack up to being at home. So obviously, like you mentioned, certain things like, you know, with New Zealand not having the food that you want and blah blah blah. It is what it is because
but that's
it's not
all
that
relative, right?
Exactly that. So that obviously gives you an idea as to what, like those minor differences, right?
Yeah.
For you guys, because you obviously. You came here, when did you come here? How many years ago?
3.5 years ago.
Yeah.
Just before the massive insanity that is happening right now. What is it like? We're going through a recession.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, post.
So just before the recession.
Yeah, because you guys came MIQ.
We came during COVID. We had to go to managed isolation quarantine MIQ. That's where we stayed like at a hotel for 10 days so that we don't... to make sure that we are not letting the virus out into the community. So we isolate for 10 days, they monitor us for that 10 days, and if we're all good, then we can go out into the community. So the minute we landed here, that's already off the bat. We landed here, we landed at Auckland Airport, right? They had snack packs for us, activities for the kids. Things just work. Like it just worked. Like then we were taken on another plane, went to Christchurch, flew to Christchurch, because we MIQ'd in a hotel in Christchurch. Stayed there for 10 days, had regular testing done, and then once the 10 days were up, they tested us, we were all negative, and then we could come back to Auckland and then carry on.
Sure. You guys had an experience?
Yeah, but with the toddler, it was wild.
Yeah, we literally got here, landed, walked through the airport. They were like, what are you doing here? coming to visit our family.
Did they didn't have jobs, you came to visit family at the time.
Yeah.
And did you
Because
stay after that?
Yeah. I just also...
So what about all your stuff back home? You just like, so what happened to all the stuff back home? Did you have like, not have things? Did you live in a shack?
Did I live in a shack?
Did you not have things back home? You just hopped on a plane, came on holidays to visit people, and they were like, oh, I'm just going to stay here. Like, was there no preparation and planning at all for this?
It was, do you know what our situation was?
What?
Up and go. So literally start fresh, sell everything.
Okay.
Just start.
So you sold things
Regardless
before
of,
coming.
yeah, regardless
so
of where it was going to be. Yeah.
Okay.
Either it was going to be starting fresh in Cape Town, so start fresh,
Yeah.
as in like I said, we sold like everything, or start fresh somewhere else.
Yeah.
At the time we were looking, where can we go?
Okay.
We're looking at countries, right? So there's lots going on. My auntie was here, so she obviously said, guys, check New Zealand out.
Yeah.
They went to London before that, so they checked London out and they didn't like it, and obviously they then relayed that message to us, and we're like, oh, okay, cool, we like some of the things, so we're probably not going to like London.
Okay.
So they went to New Zealand, and then we thought, okay, we'll check it out, and if it works, it works.
Yeah.
And it did. So we came over here to come and check it out.
But then you didn't check it out though, you like literally came to live here.
Yeah, but imagine you go to a country now and you go, oh, hey, we're coming to move here. Then it's going to be like, oh, you can't just move. What are you talking about?
Oh, but things are so but you see that
was different 20
that is
years
different.
ago. So
Yeah, you can't even get in without
exactly.
like a relevant work visa.
So we
or
literally
whatever.
came here to come and visit the country.
Okay.
Which a lot of people did back then. They came to come and visit. And fortunately, my mom, like she's a teacher, so short skills list.
Yeah.
They were looking for teachers.
Yeah.
Right? And my daddy as well, he had a driving school in Cape Town, but he could drive trucks, like heavy duty trucks.
Yeah.
That was on the short skills list. So it just so happened that they needed people, drivers, they always looked for South Africans. Obviously my mom being a teacher, it just worked out. So they got jobs and then we stayed. Right? So for us that was like the process. And it was a lot easier 20 years ago.
Yeah.
In that sense, now, I don't know. I
Yeah,
think
it's
people are
really
having a really
difficult
hard time.
now.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so my sister just came over. She encouraged her, and we finally succeeded. And so she's now here. But she's also a teacher, so she's on the green list, right? So basically, now to get into New Zealand, you have to be on a short skill list or a green list. Otherwise, you can't get a visa, the relevant visa to live and work here.
Yeah.
Okay, you can still come visit. You can have a normal visitor visa, whatever. But to actually live here and benefit from the country and its wealth of stuff, you have to have skills to give back to the country.
Yeah.
So it's really hard for some people now.
Yeah.
And I know a couple of friends of mine even that are struggling with degrees that I'm a health professional, I'm an occupational therapist, also on the shortage list. But even they are struggling because there's certain things that they want. They're so strict now.
Yeah. So
There's also an age cutoff, right?
What? Like if you're too old?
Yeah, if you're too old, they don't want you here. Because you need to contribute to society for long enough to actually benefit from their things.
What is the age?
I think it's like 45 or something.
Oh, okay.
Like these brackets,
Fair enough,
basically.
Because I want to make sure that you can actually be in the workforce for a while, not coming just to retire. Now it is challenging that
It's a little bit harder now. But so that being said, like some people obviously want to have the opportunity. But anyone who does have the opportunity to immigrate from South Africa and tells you that they will never, they are lying. They don't have the opportunity.
So you think they would?
Yes. If someone said, here's a job for you, this is what you need to do to get here, why would you not?
Yeah, questionable. We'll go into that again.
Okay.
I feel like it's questionable.
I feel like they're lying.
I just feel like never mind. Let's not go there. Let's not go there.
Okay. Anyone with kids in a decent, right mind, logical.
Yeah. If you're like,
actually, maybe not, because my brother and his wife. So you guys are not logical. They're not here. They don't want to come.
Oh, she just
okay. You know what? Hey, you do have to also factor in family, I suppose, and like her parents are getting older and.
Yeah. Now there's a lot.
Like
There's a lot to make a movement. There's a lot. So if someone, it's not an easy decision, and it's not easy. It's not easy to do. Right? That's the other thing. It's not easy.
It takes a lot of guts. You need to be quite brave to do it, and also it's like you're leaving your comfort.
Yeah.
Right? You're leaving your family. Those are all things that you miss, and it's like really challenging. You're leaving everything that you know for the complete unknown.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing. So you have to paint this picture in your head, right? You are currently in Cape Town or any other country in the world, right? You're immigrating. You're leaving your family behind. You're leaving what you know behind. You're leaving your safe space behind.
And you're basically starting afresh.
Starting
right?
fresh,
Like in
right?
terms of like everything, even financially, because it's expensive to immigrate. Like it's really expensive.
Yeah.
And then to get started and get like it
And
takes
that's
a
the thing. So,
while.
now that's the thing. So you remember that's what you're doing. So while it might be this hype,
Yeah.
okay, remember that you're leaving every single thing behind. So this is about being real, right? The grass is green on the other side.
But there's a lot of humps,
Right?
lumps and bumps and
Yeah. So you need to understand that when you make that move, when you go over.
molehills along the way.
Mole. Oh yeah.
Moles, like, you know, the bumps on the grass, like the moles. Okay.
I just didn't hear you.
But yeah.
What was I saying again?
The
see
grass
that?
is
You
green
see
on
that?
the other side, but there are some challenges along the way.
You know the amount of times that I have a point and then she
I'm so sorry.
but I do remember actually, yes.
Okay,
So grass green on the other side, but you must know what you're leaving behind so that you can prep yourself, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're coming with that expectations of, yo, great, we're moving countries, we're gonna get there and it's just gonna be all, like, you did it wrong, right? Did it wrong because you have to now adjust, new place, new environment. You've got no comfort in the sense of you don't have safety around you in terms of family, your environment, what you know you can do back home, you cannot do over here.
Yeah.
The way you communicate to people back home, you cannot do that over here. It does not work that way, right?
Yeah.
So you need to understand that you come into this complete different place and there's going to be this feeling of, what the hell did I do?
Yeah.
Like, you have a why, but you're like, what? Like, I was 12 and I came in, I was like, where am I?
Yeah.
Like, this is strange.
It's so different.
Right? I don't even know how to explain the feeling. It's just, even as a child, I didn't feel settled. I was like on edge, like, when you know, like, you get scared, like if your dad maybe gets into an argument with someone because like, what do the people like over here?
Yeah.
And it's like weird to think, but you have to think these things. You don't know what people are like. You don't know what the country is like. So that's something you need to understand. And you need to understand, you need to, like you said, crack show when you move, right? And you come out of the comfort zone. You need to have that strong bond as a family.
Yeah,
Super
strong
important.
foundation.
Very strong foundation, because if you don't, it will show. And
but even so, even if you have a strong foundation, like we had a strong foundation, there's still things that are going to come up that you never had to deal with before,
but
because you had all that support back home. And now it's just
but again, as long as
right?
your foundation is strong and your why is strong, it's the glue, right? So you know, right, this is why we did it, and you can carry on forward, right? But so someone watching this, they go, okay, cool, we either just moved, okay, to a country, or we're about to move. Let's go through some weird stuff, man. Like some different stuff from like to like just the experience, right?
You'll be so many,
right? So, like when we got here, there was like, so I remember when we landed, okay, my auntie picked us up.
No, just adjust your head a bit, your bald spot you're showing. Just a little bit. Just like look directly at the camera.
You have tissues. I want to.
You know what? We should really
I feel sorry for you.
No.
I feel so sorry for you.
No, we should be.
I only have to deal with this for like an hour.
Don't understand.
No,
Okay.
I understand now.
Okay, just whatever. But I'm going to buy you that L'Oreal spray on before our next session. Then it's like, because
I'm not insecure about my balls, but look here.
Okay.
If it goes bald, I'll rock it. I'll shave it. Can I shave it off? Oh no, she said no. I can't shave it off. So I'm gonna have a middle place.
Like, you know, so most people have a receding hairline. Like they start giving birth to have a receding hairline. You don't have that, which is great, right? But you were gonna just like start going both from the middle, so it's just gonna like a crater. It's gonna start.
I'm not gonna roast her back on this episode.
No, you can roast me. You know,
I will steal away on like episode number what?
I will take the roasting.
Oh, yo, that roasting.
I will roast myself. I'm roasting myself all day already.
Yeah. I'm gonna let you have this win, my ball spot.
Okay.
While
But anyway, wait, you were actually making a very good point before I started talking about your ball spot.
I've got my point. What is my point?
You were saying the weird and wonderful things about coming to New Zealand and what?
Oh, weird and wonderful thing. So first thing is you get bald, apparently. Right? Second one.
I feel like that's just like being married and having it. So you're aging.
Yeah, I am
You know?
aging. I've got the grey hairs going.
Yeah, me too. It's okay. We can't take ourselves too seriously.
I don't.
Yeah, it's fine.
Do I? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Where were we? weird and wonderful. No, when I landed here, so we drove through. Where do we drive through? Okay, so from the airport you have to drive through like certain areas, right?
Yeah,
And
Manukau. You come from that way.
Yeah. So the first thing in our minds was, right, we're moving to New Zealand, right? It's like a first world country. So you're thinking now like posh, like, you know, leave the airport and you literally drive through like certain areas that's older and you're just like, like where did
and the houses are not brick here.
Yeah,
they're like
it's wooden houses
because of obviously the natural disasters and stuff. So it's like if something were to happen, less damage would happen if it isn't brick. That's one of the reasons why. But anyway,
it's just structural. It's better for like stuff, earthquakes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh, I see this little one over there. So that was like strange, right? And then honestly, it's like the weirdest little things, man. Like if you go, I touched on this last time. You go put petrol in, right?
Oh yeah.
You have to get out of the car.
There's no petrol attendant coming to help you guys.
You have to like put the petrol in yourself. And
you must even clean your own windscreen.
And get this, right? You can put petrol in first. And then you can go pay. Like,
you don't even have to pay. Okay, okay. I mean, look here, it's not monitored.
Is that
like,
what you did when you got here?
No, I did. Like, we paid because these cameras, right? And they will catch you out. But the point of the matter is, back home, they will take their chance. They will wear balaclavas. Is that what it's called? Yeah. And they will put in their petrol. They'll siphon whatever they want to siphon. And also go, like, you put in the petrol. They give you the petrol. They give you the benefit of the doubt that you are going to pay for this afterwards. And then you go and pay afterwards, and like
so the trust again, safety a little bit different now. 20 years later, things have changed a bit. Certain places are like, nah, we have to pay first. But the point is, like, it's
well, they hold your card. You don't pay first. You just have to tap. But a lot of places you can still
but it's not do
but
that. It's just not as it was last time. So that's the thing. So these are weird things, and these are the little things you can be like, where did I move? Like, what is this? You know, going to go buy your groceries. Nobody packs you. Oh, it depends. Sometimes you go to New World.
If you go to like the bush, they're going to pack you things. But most of it's self-checkout. And so you're packing your own things also. And self-checkout, I mean, you are literally scanning your own things. So if you wanted to you could put one in your pocket, and people do that. I've seen it. I've literally seen it with my own eyes.
Done that
and
yourself.
Me personally, no.
Are you sure?
No,
it's like you're buying onions, but you put it all like in the potato bag, and it's like you know.
No, but we're not going to say on camera about the onions.
I was joking.
But anyway, I have things to work towards. But you get people like they do that. Like they literally do that, and like. I'm not going to be someone to rat you out. Like, if you're struggling in life and that's how you get by, then that's on you, you know?
This is an unprofessional opinion, just saying. So if you just gave me permission to steal stuff, unprofessional opinion.
But, you know, people struggle. People steal things. It's not for me to get involved. I don't care.
Yeah.
The freaking security guards don't even get involved here.
Yeah, that's also
because they can't touch you. So they must confront you.
Again, another different experience, right? It's not the same. It's like anyone and everyone will go at you, right? Yeah, it's like now someone should just leave them. Someone steals something, leave them.
You have to find the cops, and the cops have to get involved.
So it's like stuff like that. It's very different, very, very different. And even as a 12-year-old, you're like, yo, is this what it's like over here? You know what I mean? So it's stuff like that, you know, that's different. So those are like little things, right?
Yeah. I do miss the South African cashiers though. When they pack their leave and they're like wanting to touch your baby and like just know your whole life story, and they tell you their life story. Like it's like
anyone will know your whole life story.
Like sometimes
you know, can go to the shop over here.
As a mother, the grocery store is my outing sometimes. Like I have 2 kids and I work full time. I have a husband that's sometimes a 3rd kid. So like me going to the grocery store is an outing. I enjoy it. Right? That's like my little outing.
Well, if you go to the grocery store and you're there for an hour, you're probably shopping for like 20 minutes, and like 40 minutes you're standing at the cash and you're talking your life story out.
But you see now, like I can't do that here because no one wants to listen to you here. Like people don't want to know your business. People don't want to tell you their business. But just in general, like it's not even about knowing people's business. Like people are very PC here. You know what PC means? Must tell you what PC means. Okay, that's what PC means. Google.
I'm actually quite smart. Okay, just saying. You know. Don't worry, the roast will return.
But yeah,
what does PC mean?
Politically correct.
Now you're wrong.
No.
You are actually wrong.
What does it mean?
It's not that.
It's definitely that. No,
I made you
please.
doubt yourself for a second.
You did actually.
You know, the seat is actually dropping her.
But yeah, like they're so politically correct. You don't really know your neighbors here, like you did back home.
No, that's
The cash is not going to talk to you and have like a whole fat conversation with you.
Now let's touch on that actually. Community, right? Now, when I say that, you say like you don't even know your neighbors over here, which is very true. You don't. We've been here for 20 years, and in that 20 years, I can honestly say that we've maybe interacted with 5 of our neighbors over like a period of 20 years. That's not a lot of neighbors, right?
And
we've moved quite a few.
Yeah, so
like
that's
few
like
times,
not
right?
a lot at all.
So people are generally in their own buzz. In Cape Town, your neighborhood, everyone knows each other.
You grew up with your neighbors.
You grew up there,
like
you,
their
if
kids
you
were
like,
like you were playing with it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
So that's obviously something huge that people look for over here, right? So let's say someone's now come over here, explain to them the feeling of obviously not having family and trying to find community over here. How did that feel from your perspective, like as an adult, as a parent, right? I'm moving to this country and I actually need to find community for my family, for my kids.
Yeah. I think that was my husband. Like
that's the most important.
Look here, as loud and crazy as I am, I'm only like this with people that I really am comfortable with. So like my husband on the other hand, like he will actively make friends. Like that's how we even came. Like he made friends with you, and then I met you guys.
That happened.
Yes, like see, I met all our friends. I didn't actively look for friends.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
With the flowers, and you're like, yo, let's be friends.
Like he's a friend, he's very friendly, he's a friendly guy, right? Like I don't even like some people, to be honest with you. I like you guys. But like,
she admitted at least, right? See?
What did I admit?
Dislike. You say, I like you guys.
Yeah. But like there's a lot of people I don't like. And my husband's a friendly guy. Like he's just like, he's chilled, he's just like that type of person. You know, so he made friends and he found the community, and it's really good because we have I said we had a son at the time, we have a daughter now.
When you say you found the community, right?
Okay, so we had family friends, and the family friends were his family friends also, but he would also like, he'd go to mosque on Jummah on a Friday, meet people, go to like the Taraweehs in the Ramadan, meet people, like that's how we got a lot of our South African Muslim
So it's looking for that like Muslim, like Cape Malay vibes. And
for our son to grow up and like grow up
that tradition
and have
that alive and strong.
those values as models. So that's why that's
Was it nerve-wracking though? Because obviously you have to think of your child, because again we spoke about this last time, but you have to think of your child growing up as well. Faith-wise, because we're obviously big on our faith. Like being Cape Malay, meaning we, for the most part,
being Muslim,
right? So that's obviously massive for us. So
let me tell you a story. And I said this last time, and then all of our sound went. Anyway, my son.
She's like trying to like brush
we don't want our kids on camera. We don't want our kids on camera. So respecting our children and their choices.
They are around, so
anyways, just before I immigrated, or just before we immigrated, like maybe a month or two before, we went to Boulders Beach, right? This is a beach in Summerstown in Cape Town. And there was actually a boy from New Zealand. He was Muslim. He was with his family. He'd have obviously come and visited his South African family, his uncle, cousins, whatever. It didn't seem like he had a parent here with him. It was just whatever. And it was Dhuhr Salah time, one of our prayer times. And his uncle said, okay, come, we're going to make Salah. We're going to make Jama'ah Salah here on the beach, whatever. Let's go take a do, right? Anyways, all the men get up. Like the women did their own thing, they prayed alone. But all the men got up, went to go take a do, clean themselves so that they can pray. And he just sits there, right? And then the uncle comes back and the uncle's like, oh, you're still sitting here. Did you take a do yet? And he's like, let's go. Oh, first he said, let's make Salah. So he's like, yeah. So he gets up, he's going to make Salah. But then his uncle asks him, did you make wudu? And he looks at his uncle with like this utter confusion, you know? And I'm just thinking like this guy looks like he's like 16, 17 years old.
Doesn't know what's going on.
Like, how do you know? Do you know what I mean? And that was a big fear for me. And this was just before we were supposed to immigrate. And then I went down the rabbit hole trying to look for Muslim people who have immigrated, specifically like Cape Malay, South African Muslim people who have immigrated, so that like I knew what I was coming to, and like I wanted to know that there was some way that we belonged and that my child could have the experience that he would have had growing up in South Africa, in Cape Town. And I couldn't find anything online. And that's also a big reason for us starting this podcast, right?
Yeah. No, exactly that. And you won't find anything like that.
And it was probably harder your time, like 20 years ago. How was that?
Oh yeah, same thing. It's like obviously we had our family here. So that made it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
And because the community was smaller, it
Yeah.
made it easier to actually find. I don't know, it was weird because it was so small. It's hard, these people have just come over and whatnot.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, and the other cool thing is we actually knew other people here as well. Like old friends that was in the same area that we lived in Cape Town, right?
Yeah.
So that made things a little bit easier because when you know one or two people, they'll introduce you like to the community. So if you don't know, it's a little bit harder, but if you know that one person, it makes things actually so much easier. If you know no one, it's like you actually just find yourself going through the motions and eventually you meet like this community, right? So it was good in that sense. It was much easier. We got to meet people very, very quickly. But that's definitely something to note as well. So this stems from, again, we don't want to go too far into this, but knowing and having that strong foundations, right? You're obviously going to have that fear or that thought, and that is a valid thing, and you must know about it, because if you don't, I think you're being ignorant if you're not thinking like, oh, what's my kids, what's going to happen. So,
and you take for granted back home, right? You have a family unit, and that family unit automatically is like helps, helps raise your kids. You have a village, right? So you have to kind of find a village, and you have to sift through some of the.
Well, there are people that look
some of the moles.
Look here, look. Let's before we go down.
We don't look here. Realistically speaking, you're not going to get along with everyone, right? These are people like it's not your family. It's not your family, right? So you really need to be very selective about who you're bringing around your children, who you want to grow with, right? And some people are not like liquor people. Like let's just be honest.
It is what it is, and the reason we say this is because
everywhere.
Some people come over here, right? And again, don't go too far into this, but it's just a natural thing. It happens. It's the same as when your kids in the house, you act a certain way, but then if you leave the house and your parents are not around, you feel like you have a little bit more freedom, right? So you don't feel as like restricted, because that just is what it is. You grow up, you have rules, blah, blah, blah. So when people move countries, it's the same thing. They're like now not surrounded by their family and people that could potentially judge them. So naturally, this happens. People just, they get comfortable and
they raffle it.
Yeah, let's say that.
That's a kind of
and they just, they change their ways, they forget their roots. And there's nobody there to keep them on track. Not that it's anybody else's responsibility, but that is what just happens, right? People just decide, hey, we're in a different place, we can do what we want to do, nobody has to tell us. And naturally, that faith or certain potential, even certain models slowly go out the door. Right. Not to say that people like completely become bad people. I'm not saying that.
But that's not like, look here. We parents, we don't want to judge that, because our children, like we have children that must still grow up and whatever. And may God protect it always. But the thing is, you can't control what your kids do, right?
Exactly that.
Like they're gonna get older and they're gonna do what they want to do.
And the reason why I always talk about that, the foundation, is make sure the foundations, the models are strong, is because if you've got that down, right? Now you can talk about your faith. Right? Or you can talk about just how you are as a family, because this can be non-Muslims as well. You can be Christian. It doesn't really matter. Like, it depends on your particular models. And if you raise your kids and you have that strong foundation there, they'll find their way. So even if maybe, they go through, which, trust me.
Like we probably did.
Look here, don't come
like we definitely did. But we come back to the path because we have that strong foundation.
Being in New Zealand is challenging. I will be dead honest. I grew up here, right? So being 12 years old, having a foundation that was built in Cape Town, fortunately that was strong enough, right? But being in New Zealand does change your view of a lot of things. So maybe not the moral side, but if we're talking from a faith perspective, and more so a Muslim perspective, because over here other religions are much bigger. So if you're Christian or if you whatever,
Muslims are the minority. Whereas back in Cape Town we were the majority.
So if it's important to you, you need to know that is a challenge as a child, because all we saw was what was going on around. Oh, that's normal. That's normal. So then you have to then question yourself, well, if they're doing it, that's normal. What about me? I'm not saying that you're going to go and catch on crap. That's not what I'm saying. But you definitely see these things and you have to actively make a decision based on what you have learned. Right? And remember, as kids, it's not always easy. Right?
No.
We live and we learn.
Peer pressure.
Yeah, we live and we learn.
Just
So
wanting to belong, doing silly things because you want to belong, and you don't want to be like,
Yeah.
you want people to saying like, oh,
Exactly.
that person, Mo's so boring, and everyone wants to,
Yeah. No, but, and that's the thing though.
and Mo is so boring. You know, I'm joking.
That was
No, you know what?
roasting
Mo
at me.
is not boring.
Calm down.
Mo
Calm
is
down.
very responsible. And you want a responsible man like Mo. His wife can attest to this.
Let's just first lift the seat up because it just keeps dropping down. It's making me feel less.
It's because you
Secondly,
know, literally God wants him to see that you're actually my height. That's why it keeps dropping down. Because why is your tree so high up?
just because it's like comfortable for me, like to rest my arms. Like, you know, I don't want to sit like this, you know.
Okay, carry on.
Once again, I forgot my point. What was I saying?
Mo's not boring.
No. Oh yes, bruh. If someone says no is responsible, that's just code for is.
No, he's not boring, guys. Like you obviously
But
watch
actually,
media.
no, I can agree with it. I am boring to an extent because.
But there's different versions
I don't
of
have time for,
boring.
like, the nonsense.
There's different versions of boring.
Yeah,
You know what I
look
mean?
here, I'm chill with waking up in the morning, having a cup of, well, this is water, but a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And like
Living
just
your own life.
Yeah,
Getting on with
like I
things.
never thought I'd be excited to just sit down, watch a movie with a cup of coffee, a
Yeah.
donut, and my wife. Didn't forget you.
And the donut must always be there also. Mo and
Yeah,
donut.
donuts and yeah. Anyway, you going back to
the
that,
donut
going
you
back to
do
that fun. I love donuts, guys. If you're watching this,
Even if they do, he still likes
I will, yes. If you want to get on my good side,
buying donuts.
buy me donuts.
Even if it's Duke donuts.
It's not doesn't mean like I'll immediately just like you can buy me donuts. That's a good start, you know.
But yeah, now I know what you mean.
Yeah, so that's something that you really do need to know. And when you are, and you can experience this,
Yeah.
you're still going to experience
Yeah.
it. And unfortunately, as a parent, and I'm going to experience it as well. At least I went through it though. But
With
as a
your
parent who
parents.
came here as a first, what did you call it last time? You guys are first generation immigrants, whatever you call it.
And you second generation.
Yeah.
So parents came.
Yeah, so there's an understanding that you will never have growing up in a new country, right?
Yeah.
Whereas obviously there's an experience that we will never have as kids having to make that move. So there's
Yeah.
always going to be like the unknowns, right? But that's the opposite ends. That's where we're different. But you're going to experience the fact that when you are talking to your son, no, your daughter, you can't come from an angle of where you were in Cape Town.
Yeah.
You have to come from an angle of where you are.
Yeah.
So you need to know what are you experiencing on a daily basis from kindy, from school. How does that shape your belief systems? How are we going to attack that?
Yeah.
All right. So you need to understand that when you do move countries, there's going to be times that your children are going to look at you and be like, you brought me to this country, so why are you attacking me? Blah, blah,
Yeah.
Trust me, the conversation happens. It will happen. It happened with me and my parents. It does happen, right? And as a parent, you just need to understand see the world through your child's eyes.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's something that these are like the bigger things to sort of take on board, because we want you to obviously go away from the, yes, we talk cap to each other and we laugh and we mess around, and we may talk about how things are not the same in Cape Town or vice versa. The thing is, these are the real core lessons, right? You want to make the move for a particular reason. Something has clicked within you, whether it be for yourself or for your family. So now you need to have the tools to equip yourself to stick it through.
Yeah.
Right? Can you carry on the journey, or is it just one of those like sort of short journeys where you've tried and then you've given up? Right?
Yeah.
So you want
And people do that. There are some people that have come
Absolutely.
and they found it was too challenging for them and they've moved back.
Like people spend
And not
money.
just South
bro.
Africans, like I know colleagues of mine that came from like the UK, and they've like spent money on like immigrating here, and then they just found that it was just not all it's cracked up to be,
Yeah.
and they went back. But it's like the thing is, you always have to have that goal at the end, like what you're working towards. It's not going to be easy off the bat. You're going to go through like a lot of challenging things.
You will. Like honestly, you're going to work when you come here. That's the beginning. So if
But you're starting from fresh. Like your parents also started from fresh, right? They had you guys already. They had established careers back home. They had homes. We had a home. Like we had to start from scratch. And the South African dollar is very weak compared to the New Zealand dollar. So it's not like you can sell your house back home and then come here and buy a house here.
Nope.
That ain't gonna work, because firstly, property is pretty expensive here. Like way more. Like you think property back home is expensive. Yes, it is, but like Yeah, in comparison, like relative to what you earn, it's like very, very expensive. And like if you are starting from scratch and you weren't like born here, didn't have parents who had a home where you could live for a little bit, save up some money, you know what I mean? You are going to be really working in those first few years after immigrating.
Yeah, and that's
and you have to be prepared for that. You have to be prepared for that. You can't come and think, oh, I'm going to come and I'm moving overseas, I'm going to a first world country, I'm earning dollars, I'm going to live a life of luxury.
And
that
look,
is not what's
you
going to happen.
can if you put in the work.
Yeah, but it takes time. It's not going to happen
like
for that, is what I'm saying.
Time.
You're not going to get here and you're going to suddenly be living like a king and a queen.
Yeah, but in saying that also, it's like, also remember that this is not to say that, you should feel down and out because, it's going to be like, get excited.
But you have to be prepared for it.
Yeah, you have to be prepared. It's like anything. Just get excited though, because it's part of the process. You know why you're doing it, and you know what the end goal is. You have a vision, right? That's very important. Have that vision as to why you're moving.
And there's so many good things also, and like you're seeing the world, right? Like the amount of people that we have really diverse Rainbow Nation back home, but yeah, even more so. Like I've dealt with people from different cultures and things that I've never ever dealt with from back home. I've tried foods here that I've never ever tried back home.
We're just talking about foods. Also very true. Very true. Because you experience different cultures.
Yeah, you open, your eyes are open to so much more. And traveling here also, like there's certain things that are so much closer to the side of the world where you could like have access to traveling. So much easier than you would back home.
I would say the biggest thing for me is that which is what I always say, you get to view the world as because look here, we're coloreds, and I feel like coloreds are very like unknown to the world.
Yeah.
People don't really know. People know brown.
Like what do they think you are? You're Indian, eh? Automatically they're like Indian.
I've had that.
Because me always, I think I'm Indian.
Do they speak? Do they like speak?
Like Indian people always come to me and they're like wanting to speak to me and they're like, where you from? Gujarati? And I'm like, no, bro.
They're like full conversation
with you before even like,
it happens. It happens. They start talking to you, like,
and I'm not
5 minutes in the conversation, and then you're like, I speak English. And they're like, oh. And then because
I'm not Indian also. Like, I'm Cape Malay.
Yeah. So it is that. I've had it all. I've had Indian, I've had Lebanese, I've had...
you're a bit dark for Lebanese, eh? Like, let's just be honest.
Look here, we're the same skin color.
Lebanese, my husband is the color of a Lebanese man. You are not the color of a Lebanese man. Mo, you being like a brother, Nana, light-skinned boy. Kanala. Let's just be honest.
Did I say that I was the color of Lebanese?
No, but he said he got Lebanese, but he's not used to talking.
People thought I was Lebanese, okay? Then they thought I was Mexican as well. I could see that.
I could see that.
Thought I'm Samoan.
I could see that too.
Yeah.
Even Maori.
Yeah.
Because the Maori boys look colored. Some of them look colored. Like even the girls, they look like colored girls, colored boys.
Yeah. I literally had someone come to me when I was in the gym. Because I was like, obviously personal training. She goes, oh, like, where are you from, bro? Like, you look like you could be from South America. You sound like you could be American. Then when you smile.
Yeah, because of your fake accent.
It's not fake.
He has an American accent.
Get onto.
When he's dealing with clients and stuff. And we all have a little bit of an accent here. Like, I'm not going to lie about that, but your accent
I own my accent though. I've got 2 accents. I love it.
Let's do a little part of the segment in your American accent. Just for funsies.
Nah, that's a negative. No.
Next time we're gonna get him there.
No, and look, you can go to my other page and you'll see when I'm doing my other speaking videos. Like,
motivational speaker, vibe. He's a good motivational speaker.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, but like he does have a hectic American accent with his
20 years being in this country. You know, and you know what? Most South Africans do, but
they don't have American accents.
I don't have an American accent.
No. Like everyone has a little bit of an accent once they come here. Like I also roll my R's a little bit when I'm at work, right, and talking to clients because they understand it a little bit
English
better.
Accent.
Yeah, like English.
No,
right?
I'm talking English, not like English, like like UK English.
No. But like people who've been here for 20 years, like they have they start to develop a bit of a Kiwi accent. Like even when we hear kids talk, right? You can hear like our boys, like they have when they're talking to other Kiwis, they have a Kiwi accent, and when they're talking to us, then they're South African. But like, but it switches.
Yeah. No, that's the thing. And I see, we just spiraled because you were talking so much. That was my point. You see, this is the thing. The point that I was trying to make before again.
Get excited.
Yeah, she's excited.
Get excited.
No, it's like I said, colors are very local, very unknown, right? If when people see people like guys like Trevor Noah on the stage, it's like, yo, this guy is so captivating. You know? The thing is, we've got a whole nation of colors, and the thing is, because the world doesn't know that, like our history, our stories, our experiences, and what we can actually do in the world is limited, because we even kind of beat, like, we put ourselves down because we don't actually think that we can make those changes in the world. So what we
are our own worst enemy.
Yeah, we are. We've got this,
like even like they don't support each other.
No.
We don't, like, this is our problem. We could get so far. There's so many, like, we have the vibes, you know, like we have the smarts. People underestimate us, but we are our own worst enemy because we don't want to support each other. We'd rather support other people. We'd rather support the white man before we support our colored brothers.
And look, that comes down to like generations and generation of deep conditioning. That people, you know, view themselves a certain way. You know, whether it's having a particular complex and not feeling like, you know, we're actually good enough. And
but it's even conversations that they have among such as themselves. Even back home, like people will be like coloreds will be like, oh, this country was much better than the white man, damn it. The white man looted our country. And that is the state that we have. And then they gave the black people. No, we must get there. That is why we're in the position that we're in. Do you know what I mean? And no offense to white people, but you guys are colonizers. From the beginning of times to now still. It's what's happening. It's what has happened for centuries and decades. And I speak way of millennials. And this is, but it's the truth.
Yes, but,
and so colored people have gotten into this rut where it's like they believe what they were taught. Like conditioning, right?
That's what I said.
But like,
deep
generational
conditioning.
We're so diverse within our spectrum. Even, I mean, there's Kate Malays, there's Trevor Noah, what he's like mixed between, like, he has a German father or a black mother, whatever. Like, there's like so much variation of what we are, and there's so many things we can do.
And we can literally make an impact. And
we need to support
this is where this comes from. This is where, like, look, we are coloreds and we can make a change. And the point that I was actually finally getting around to is the fact that you now, with us, we get to see the world, right, through colored eyes, okay, and experience it completely differently.
Yeah.
That's the thing, because when you're just at home, it's like it's almost like if I just paint you a quick picture. If you think of an ant, right, it's like crawling like in the carpet, right? That ant sees nothing but like carpet, right?
Yeah.
But what we can see is we can see the whole carpet, the patterns of the carpet, everything, like the design of the carpet, the surrounding areas of the carpet, which means we can maneuver in a much better way.
Analogy.
Right? So if you then take people, coloreds, and this is all over the world, doesn't matter what country you're from, it's just when you're at home, you're at home. And
people of color.
Yeah, and you're there, you just know what you know, right? And you're okay with that. But what we're trying to say is that don't think of yourselves, think of the next generation. Right? We want our kids to grow up in a world where we are known and we are heard and we have impact.
And it doesn't matter where we are. Like, you can stay somewhere if you want to. Like, the thing is, people will say we're salads because we immigrated. I will be a salad if it's for the safety of my child.
I will debate that to my dying day.
Yeah.
Any colored, come along and debate that. Oh, you sellouts, you don't know what it's like to be South African. By all means, bring it on. Because there will be elements for sure that, you know, we won't align on, but that's not our point. Our point is to show that, and this is why we're doing what we're doing, and this is why we bring up all these little points, just to show what is possible. And I think that, for me, when you ask me, is the grass green on the other side? The short answer is yes. The long answer is what we just went through. It's you get to experience the world from a different standpoint, and that in itself, you will never ever get on that side, right? Unless you've done this type of thing, or unless you've traveled the world. Different story, you know what I mean? So we're trying to say it's the experiences. So that's kind of why we do what we do. This is what we're going to touch on. It's going through the world, you know, with this colored lens. But in saying that, it also relates to a lot of other people, right? So don't think that we're just talking to coloreds.
So, you know the saying, those colored glasses, those tinted glasses, we are colored tinted glasses. We literally wanting to showcase the world through our eyes, whether that be topics of marriage, relationships, friendships, parenting, politics. Like, we will touch on everything and anything. We're going to be real. We're going to be ourselves. I'm very vocal, and sometimes Mo probably wants to because I will say things that maybe are not really PC. But
Yeah. But the thing is, and talk about PC really quickly, is again, this is why I say most people don't know about colors, right? People think outside of South Africa that when you call yourself colored, it's not PC. Oh, you can't say that thing. You can't, and it's like,
or even like saying white or black, like people get video
it's like,
offended
it's
by
like
that.
no,
It's
like you have no idea. I'm honored to be like a colored because of that rich history, bro,
Yeah.
right? And for us, we Cape Malay as well, so we bring another branch of
coloredness.
history and coloredness in there. So
Yeah.
there's going to be that element as well that allows us to touch on all of this. So I
You
think
proudly colored.
yeah, we are, absolutely. And we in the world, not just in South Africa, we're in the world, and we want to share that experience in every way we can.
Yeah.
I don't know if we probably missed some things. Yeah,
We
but
touched on a lot of
there's going to be
things.
literally weekly episodes.
But ask us questions also, like get down in the comments, ask us questions,
Sound
interact
like an
with us.
influencer. Is that what we do? Oh
Like-
yeah. I just joke, obviously.
But just like interact with us. Like we have pages, we have TikTok, we have Instagram, we have YouTube page. Like ask us questions if you have specific questions. I know a lot of you guys are like, I have had questions from friends of mine already and acquaintances about immigrating. Ask us and we will like make reels
We'll go
and we
for it,
will
yeah.
give you answers. We are here to help you. We're not here to become famous. We're not here just to talk a lot of shit, although we will also talk shit.
You said you wanted to get famous.
No, bro. No, bro.
I'm just joking. Our intention is real.
Our intention is to
really
help you guys as the viewers and to just like be a sounding board and like be relatable and, you know, like not take life too seriously, but like also talk about serious topics while we're at it, you know?
Yeah, exactly. But on that note, I'm looking at the time and I am hungry. Guess what? We're
We're gonna braai now.
Yeah, so
let's do that.
yeah.
And the baby wants to drink. She's looking here and things need to be happening. So we are gonna sign off for today.
Yeah. And we'll see you in
In a week.
episode.
Yeah.
In a week.
Episode
Next
2.
episode.
Bye.
Yeah.
Call up to the sky, make we raise our voice high.